So the class is being recorded. Once again, my name is Taye Abidakun, and we want to learn React.js. Each of our sessions will last for an hour till we are done with everything we need to learn. And this is how we are going to learn it. For our first two classes, we'll first do quick revision of JavaScript to refresh our memory. And that's because we are going to be using some inbuilt JavaScript commands a lot in React.js. So those commonly used ones will be visited now, today and next class. So when we are done with this review, then we start React.js proper. So let's start today's class. I appreciate us for coming. Welcome everybody. In case you need to learn JavaScript or something, note this class is not for beginners. Those people that are just starting or getting into web development. This class is not for beginners. So in case you are just starting out, you can check out my books, Introduction to Web Development and HTML by Taye Abidakun. You can check out my books. You can also check out my book on this is the Introduction to HTML and Web Development. So you can check it. You can also check out my book JavaScript Simplified by Taye Abidakun. So in case you are new to web development. Okay, having said that, let's go straight to business. Just taking time to load. Okay, so I've created a folder for today's session. So inside this folder, I've created 3 files. Let's start with index.html. Index.js. So let's go to the HTML file. Okay, so these are those things you are going to be considering today. We consider destructuring, we consider split operator, rest operator. We also consider HOF. This HOF will be looked at in our next class. These are those things we want to check out in JavaScript before we go to React.js. So we'll check out the map, the filter, and find. If there's any other thing aside is that I think we need to learn, I will bring it up also. Let's start from the first one, destructuring. Now, what destructuring means is that you are taking hello everybody, sorry, I think I had the issue with my network. Sorry. So my screen is not full at this point. I hope it's fully displayed now. So what destructuring means is that you Hello, please can you hear me? Hello everyone.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please can we still see my screen?
Yes,
Okay.
you can see it.
So what destructuring means is that you have a list of items, then you want to take out some values from this list of items and assign them those values to variables. I come again. You have a list of items, then you want to take out some values from this list of items and assign them to variables. And that's what we are doing with destructuring. Destructuring is here 6 ways of doing these things. So let's look at examples. So first one, we'll go to our index.js. So let's say I have an array. You can destructure an array or you destructure an object. So let's start with arrays. I have an array that looks like this. So I want to take out, remember what destructuring is about is that you are taking out or you are taking parts of a list of items. You are taking some values from list of items and you want to assign these values to variables. So for my list of numbers, this is a list of numbers. I want to take out this first one, this 8, and assign it to a variable. So we are taking this value, this 8, out of this list and we want to assign it to a variable. So to do that, you come here and say then you create square braces. The reason you are creating square braces is because the item you want to destructure, this A, you want to destructure this A. The item you want to destructure is an array. So because the item you want to destructure is an array, for that reason, you have these square braces. So inside this, you put a value there. I can call it num. I can call it anything. So what it's going to do is that it goes to this A, then it picks the first value in this A and assigns it to num. If you do alert num, then we see it inside it. I come again. We have this list of numbers. So because we want to destructure an array, we have these square braces, then we put a variable here. This variable can be anything of your choice, then equals to A. And the reason we have these square braces is because we are destructuring an array. So by doing this, it's going to pick the first value inside this A and it will assign it to num. Let's say I want to assign the first 2 values to variables. I'll come here and put another one here. I can call it maybe, let's just call it second. So what this is going to do is that it goes to this A, it will pick the first value there and assign it to num. Then it picks the second value here and assign it to second. So if I say, let's just console log. So when you check the console, you see num and second. Num will be 8, second will be 10. And this is destructuring in JavaScript. Let's check it out on the browser. It's 10. We have this 8, 10. Okay? It's 10. So let's say you wish to destructure all the values. If you wish to destructure all the values, let's say the first, second, and third values, then all I need to do is to come here and add another one here. I can call this third. It's not must to use second and third. You can call it any variable name of your choice. So the first value here goes to the first value, the second value here goes to the second value, the third value inside this A goes to this third value. Now, but what if I only want to extract 10? I don't want to extract 8 and 12. How do we go about it? To do that, you omit this and you remove this. Now this empty comma here, empty comma here shows that you know a value is there, but you want to ignore the value. Sorry. This empty comma shows that you know a value is there, but you are not interested in that value. So the value, this 8 will be ignored. Then this next value, which is 10, will be assigned to second. So when you check out the value of second, it will be 10. So any questions so far? We are just doing a quick recap of JavaScript before we go to React.js. The first two classes will be recap of JavaScript, then we move to React.js proper. So these are those things we want to check out under JavaScript before we move to React. I think it's necessary that I do this revision. So we looked at array destructuring. Let's go to the next one, which is object destructuring. Now we've seen how to remove parts or some values from an array and assign these values to variables. We want to see how to extract some values from an object and assign these values to variables. But before we move on, do you have any question? If you have any question, you can raise up your hand. Okay. Chinazum, if you have the floor. So, in array destructuring, I explained that when you have an array like this and you want to destructure an array, you make use of a square braces like this. The first value here goes to the first value here. The second value goes to the second value. The third value goes to the third value. So array destructuring makes use of the position. That is, the first goes to first, the second goes to second, third goes to third. Let's look at object destructuring. Let's say you want to destructure an object. So we're going to create an object together. I'll call this obj. So inside this, I have my name, my school. Let's say my department. Let's say computer science, and let's say computer. So we have this object. How then do we extract some values from this object and assign those values to variable? Now, because I want to destructure an object, I'll make use of a curly braces. Remember, when we wanted to destructure an array, we made use of square braces, right? So now, because I want to destructure an object, I'll make use of curly braces. I'll make use of curly braces. So this will extract name out of this obj and it will assign it to this name. If I say console log name, then I'll see this tile there. I'll see this tile. Let's go to the console on the browser and see it together. So I have this there. So let's say I'm interested in pulling out this name and school. I'll come here and say name, school. So it will extract this UI and assign it to this school. Then I'm getting here, I'll say tile UI. Now, but one big difference between array destructuring and object destructuring is that array destructuring makes use of the order. That is, let's come back here. The first value here will be assigned to the first value here. The second value here will be assigned to the second value here. That's for array destructuring. But object destructuring does not work like that. Object destructuring makes use of the key name. That is, if I do this, it will look for this key school, where school is located here, and it will pull out the value there and assign it to this school. So it makes use of this key, not the order, instead the key. So if I did this, this school will still be UI, and this name will still be Taye. This name will still be Taye, this school will still be UI. Unlike array destructuring that makes use of the order. The first goes to first, second goes to second. Object destructuring makes use of the key. It looks for that key inside it. So the name will still be Taye and the school will still be UI, even though they are I changed the order. So let's see the results. The name is still Taye and the school is still UI. Now let's move on. But then with this key, using the key, this creates a small problem for us. The problem is this: what if I don't want my variable to be the same key name? That is, I want to use another name for my variable, a name different from this key school. So maybe I want the school to be another thing else. What I mean is this: let's say I want it to be my school instead of school. Now, because there is no key inside this place called my school, it won't be able to pull it out. So if I check out my school now, it will tell me undefined. It won't be able to pull it out since there is no property inside this object called my school. Let me comment out this part. Undefined. Undefined. I hope we are getting it. Any questions so far? Now, what if I still want that result? I want this UI to be assigned to a name called my school. So what I will do is this: I will use an alias. I will pull out school. Notice I pull out school, I will assign it to my school. So what I'm doing is this: I know school is inside this obj. So I'm saying go to this obj, pull out my school, look for where school is located, pull it out, and assign it to my school. So when I check my school now, I'll find UI there. That is object destructuring. Object destructuring. So we are done with destructuring in JavaScript. Let's go to the next. Please, do you have any question?
No question.
Next is split operator. Let's look at split operator.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are splitting something, from the word split, you are laying something down. In fact, look at it this way: when let's say you have a list of items, or you have some items inside a container. When you split the container, what it's going to do is that it will copy everything inside that container without copying the container itself.
Where is that?
Yes.
Yeah, is there a way we can get the code after the class?
The class is being recorded.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So we want to look at spread operator. The way spread operator works is that when you spread something, when you spread an item, JavaScript copies all the items inside that container without copying the container itself. Just the things, it's going to copy everything inside the container, but it's not going to copy the container itself, just the things inside the container. So let's look at that together. So let's say I have an array that looks like this. So the syntax for spread operator is 3 dots, dot, dot, dot. So this is the syntax for spread operator.
Okay.
So I'll say console log dot, 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 the name of my array. Let's check the console and see how it looks like. Can you see we have everything inside the array without the container itself? This is not there. Just the things inside it. So that's the way spread operator works. It copies everything inside the container without the container itself. So now, most times when you are spreading something like this, you need to now give it a new container. So when you spread, you give it a new container. Again, when you spread like that, you give it a new container. So we have this result. So spread operator copies everything inside an item without the container itself. Now, this gives us something. It gives us an advantage. I can come here and add new values to it. Let's create a new variable. And we can say dot, 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 So as we discussed earlier, this is going to copy everything inside here and place them inside this square braces. I can add new item. I can add 20, 40. Oops. 20, 40. So let's check how A looks like now. Console add. Okay. We have this. Again, the reason we are doing all of this is for us to be good for React.js. I just want to do this recap. We've seen how to spread an array. Let's say how to spread an object in JavaScript. I'll go back with this screen. Let's say documents. I have computer. So I have this object. I want to spread it. So I can create, let's get a new variable. Let's say new obj equals to this. Remember I said when you spread, it's not going to include the container itself. So we need to create a new container. Then you can now spread everything there. Obj. So to copy everything inside obj and pour it inside this new container. Then you can say console log new obj like this. So new obj, we have everything inside obj. So that gives us we can now choose to add more items now. I can say add, let's say height, and let the height be, let's say 1.76 meters, something like this. So if I check it now, you will see everything inside obj there together with this height. You have this result. So this is spread operator in JavaScript. Before we leave this spread operator, I need to quickly explain something here. You see, when you are spreading an item or an object, I can choose to override a key name. What I mean is this: I can come here and create a new key called name. Remember, inside this obj, we already have a key there called name. I can choose to create another one here called name and call it, let's say, Ken. So what this is going to do is that this name will override the one inside obj. So that whenever I check new obj, I won't see Taye, instead I will see Kenny, because this name will override the one inside this place. Let's check it out. So the name here is Kenny, not Taye. The name here is Kenny. Let's move on. Now, overriding it depends on the order. I mean, if this name is before this obj, then it's going to use the one inside obj, not this one. If the name is before the obj, the one you spread, then it will use the one in obj. This one will not be able to override it. Instead, this will override this. When I check it, I'll see Taye instead of Ken. So we have Taye instead of Ken. Any questions so far? Can we proceed? Okay, let's look at the next one. We've seen how to spread. We looked at destructuring, we looked at spread operator. Let's go to the next one. Rest operator. Rest operator. The rest and the spread operator, they have the same syntax. That means the rest operator also has this syntax, dot, dot, dot. Both rest and spread, they have the same syntax. But let's look at the how rest operator works. The word rest is gotten from JavaScript. They got it from this word, the rest. The rest. Now, the rest means the remainder, that is what you have left. What you have left. So look at it this way, that what you have left after destructuring is known as rest operator. I come again. What you have left after destructuring is known as rest operator, is what rest operator will give you. So let's write the code so that you understand this better. So let's say I have my array like this. Let's say 9, 12, 15. Remember, the structuring is taking parts, you are taking a value out of a list of items and assigning that value to a variable. Now, after you've taken out the value, whatever you have left is for rest operator. So let's first the structure, meaning for you to understand the rest operator, you need to first understand the structuring. Then what you have left after the structuring is for rest operator. That's the structure. So this will pick the first value here and assign it to this A, right? What we have left now will be 12 and 15. 12 and 15, those are the rest. So that is what rest operator will cater for, dot, 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 B. So when you check out B, you will see 12 and 15 there. So rest operator is just what you have left after the structuring. So let's say console.b. Then you see 12 and 15 there. 12 and 15. Let's look at it. Let's look at another example. What if I have, let's say, K? Yeah. Remember, the first value here goes to this A. The second value here goes to this K. Then what you have left will be inside this B. So only 15 will be inside this B. Let's check it out. Please kindly mute your mic. So only 15 will be left. Let's move on. Let's say I have C. The first value goes to the first here, the second goes to the second, the third goes to the third. B will just be an empty array since there is nothing left. B will be an empty array. Now, this rest operator must be the last. You can't put it within, it should be the last, since it is what you have left after everything. Now, we've seen how to use rest operator for array. We want to look at how to do that for objects. So I'll put an object here. So let's look at school. Let's say department. Let's say. So I want to destructure it first. Then what I have left will be for rest. So let's destructure. Because you are destructuring an object, you make use of curly braces. So I've successfully taken out this name. What I have left will be this school and department. So I can now say dot dot dot, let's say info. So whatever you have left will be inside info. Console info. We have this school and department. We have school and department. Let's move on. Next is, I want to extract school out. So I've extracted school. What you have left will be name and department. Remember that when you are dealing with objects, it uses the key, not the order. It uses the key. So we've successfully pulled out school. Then what you have left will be name and department, and that will be inside this info. Name and department. Let's move on. Now let's pull out two data. Let's say I'm pulling out department 2. Then this info will only contain name. Since you've pulled out, you've destructured 2. You have this. So this is rest operator in JavaScript. Rest operator in JavaScript. Before we go to, I want to treat this HOF as a class on its own, as a whole class on its own. So let's look at one more thing before we round off to this session, because this, of course, this is going to, I don't think we can complete this within the little time left, so I think I would love to do this in the class on its own. Let's look at this. Return. And in year 6. So let's create a function together, an year 6 function. This is an year 6 function. Let's return. Let's say we are returning this array. Let's say return James and John. So whenever you call on this function, it will return this. So wherever you call on it. So I'll say let's names equals to the name of my function. So when I do this, since you are returning this, it's going to bring this here and to assign it to these names. Then I now console our names. Again, this is a JavaScript setup. We have this here. Now, year 6 allows us to remove this return keyword. I can remove this return so that this arrow can be used to return an item. This arrow on its own can be used to return an item. So let's do that together. So whenever you don't put that curly braces, this arrow will serve as return. So this will automatically return this here and it will console log names. We still have the same result like we had the other time. Let's see where we are going to. Now, because you know that names is expected to be an array, remember, this is an array that you are returning an array here. Names is expected to be an array. So I can now destructure it. I can say, remember, since you are destructuring an array, you put square braces. I can put maybe first name here. So the first item here goes to this first name. Any question? This is returning an array, meaning this array will come here. Then you are destructuring it. The first item here will be pulled out and it will be assigned to first name. So when we check first name, you see Peter there. Let's say the second one is let's say last name. So the second item inside this that we are returning goes to this last name. So that last name will be James. Now let's do something. Let's make it more interesting. Instead of doing this here, I will take this array here, then put it in another file. I'll put it in a new file entirely. Again, the purpose of this class is to prepare us for React class. So the reason I'm taking us this journey is to prepare us for what we are going to do in React.js. So this array will be taken out of this place and it will be taken to a new file. This function that is running an array will be taken out. So I'll cut it out. Let's create a new file. I'll call it, let's say data.js. Then paste this here like this. So I need this data inside this index.js so that I can destructure it and I can log it to the console. How do we go about that? So what we are going to do is that we will export it out. We will export this out. When you export it, then you can now import it in. You can't import it here without first exporting it here. You need to first export it here so that you can import it here successfully. Then you can now get the data then. I will comment out all of this for now and let's take it step by step. So how do you export? Just come here and add the word export. So I've successfully exported this. So before you can do this, you need to change this to module. Okay, now let's cancel now. So we've exported this. After exporting it, now we can come here and import it. We can say imports, then what's the name of this function? My func from data. The name of the file is data.js. Imports my func from data.js. So what we are doing here is that we are importing this function my func. And we've imported this. Let's check it out and see how it looks like. can you see this is a function, my func. So, and this function is returning an array. So let's call on the function so that it can return the array. I can now say, let's do step by step. A equals to my func, like this. So when you call on it, it will bring back the returned value. The returned value will be inside A. If you say console log A now, I'm no longer hearing anything from us. Please, are we following me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So what you are doing here is that when you are importing it here, you call on the function. Then when you call on the function, the return value will be released here. Then you can assign it to A, and you want to console log A and see how A looks like. We have this. So I can now easily destructure it. Let's just use this struct. So you are pulling out the first name from this, then you're also pulling out the last name from this, and we still get the same results, the one we got the other time. Let's proceed. Now, while exporting, there are two ways you can export. So you can export like this, or you export as defaults. You export as default. Let's see the difference between the two. I can say export defaults my func. So when you export it as default, whenever you are importing it, you don't put it inside curly braces. That's one difference between them. When you are importing it, you don't put it inside curly braces if it is the default. Now, if I can only have one default, you can have two defaults. Like you can export out two defaults in a file. You can export out as much as possible, but only one of them can be defaults. Meaning that I can have another function here. Const, let's say second func. And this second func, let's say, is returning. Let's say it's returning. How are you doing? How are you doing? Then let's have another one again. Cost. That's a name. Full name. Full name equals to Taye Abida. So let's say I need these three things. This we have two functions and one variable. We have these three. I need them inside this place. So I can export out the three of them. So let's export out the name. Exports. But only one of them can be defaults. You can't export two defaults. That's what I'm trying to explain. So after exporting the three of them, I can bring them in here now. So since these ones are not the default, they need to be inside curly braces. This is full name and this is second func. They need to be inside curly braces. Full name, second func. So I've imported the three of them. Then you can now use them inside this file successfully. If I say console log full name, I'll say Taye Abida. That's my full name. I'll say that's there. So only one of them can be defaults. Now, another advantage of using default is this. If it is the default, it is not a must that you use this exact name. I come again. If it is the default, if you're exporting it as the default, it is not a must that you use this exact name. Meaning that I can come here and call this Ojo. And this Ojo automatically means this my func because it is the default. If it's the default, it's not a must that you use its exact name. You can call it any name of your choice. In this case, I'm calling it Ojo. And when I say console log Ojo, you will see the function there. Ojo. Let's remove this line. This will throw back an error because we no longer have my func here. So let's check out Ojo. You can see the function there. And I can call on Ojo now. And when I trigger Ojo like this, since Ojo, or this Ojo, it stands for this function, and this function is returning this array, so it's going to return it here, and you are destructuring the first name and the last name. Console log first name, last name. I'll still have the same result. But it's a common practice that if it is default, just common, it's convention, like not compulsory, but it's just convention. That if it is a default, if you're exporting this as default, you make it bear the same name as the name of the file. Instead of this being like found, this will be data, and this will also be data. Not compulsory, like I said, but just the convention. So when you import it, it's not a must that you use data, but it is convention that you do like this. Conventions are norms in programming that even though you don't follow them, your code will still work, but it is good to follow them. It is good to follow convention. It is the norms in the community, and in JavaScript community, this is the norm. So I think we've come to the end of today's class, and we've been able to cover a lot of things. We've covered this here. Oh, now because we are learning React, like remember the purpose of this is to learn React.js. Let me add this last one. You see this here. Instead of exporting out 2 strings or 3 strings, here we have 3 strings. Let me remove this so that we focus on this part. This can be a little bit tricky, but please, you understand it. Instead of exporting out strings, the first one can be a string and the second one can be a function. So this is a string. The first value inside this data is a string, and the second value is a function. Inside this function, I can just say console log hi, console log I. We have an array. We are exporting out 2 values. The first is a string. The second is a function. This is a function, ES6 function. So let's import it here. I'll just remove this, all of this, so that I focus on data, like I said earlier. This data stands for this array. Inside this array, I have 2 items. The first one is a string. The second one is a function. The first one is a string. The second one is a function. So if I say console log data, I'll see the array that contains, let's trigger it. So I'll see the array that contains the string and the function. This second one is a function. So if I say data, let's create a variable. Let's a equals to data. So this a stands for this whole array. I can say a index 0. A index 0 stands for the first value here. If I say a index 1, a index 1 stands for the second value there. A index 0 stands for the first value here. A index 1 stands for the second value. Let's check the A index 0. You see Peter. Let's check the A index 1. You see the function. Now, where are we going to? I can now easily destructure it. Instead of assigning everything to it, I can destructure. Remember, destructuring is you pulling out values from a list of values. We have list of values here. This has 2 values, a string and a function. Let's pull out values there. Name. This name stands for the first value inside this. And the first value here is Peter. So if I say console log name, I'll see Peter. I'll see Peter. Now, I have the second one. Let's call this set name. This set name stands for the second value, which is this function. If I say console log set name, I will see the function there. If I say console log set name, I will see the function there. I have this function. Now, because it's a function, I can trigger it like this. And I will say, once you trigger the function, it will do whatever you have inside that function. Now, this is a common practice in React.js. We have, in React.js, you have a function returning an array. Inside that array, we have 2 values. The first can be a string. the second will be a function like this. So note that the first value in this case now is if you destructure it, the first value there will be the first value here. The second value here will be this function. And because this is a function, then that means you can call on the function. I can say set name. I can call on the function like this. Because this is a function, then you can trigger the function and run the code within the function. And for that reason, you will say hi. You are saying this hi because this here is a function. I know we've touched too many things tonight. I just want us to quickly finish the JavaScript part so that we move to React.js proper. But all of these are things that we will be using over and over again in React.js. Any question before we go? Okay. Paul, okay, you can ask your question.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I enjoyed the class, but I was a bit lost at some point. But I'll go and watch the video again. But my question is there a way we can bring the time a little bit forward?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so we can cover more maybe next class.
Okay, instead of it being 1 hour.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. If it just be 1 hour, sorry. That's the plan for the session. Each class will last for just 1 hour.
No, I mean maybe if we start by 8 African time to maybe 9.
Oh, I'm sorry. We won't be able to change that. So I'm sorry. Won't be able to. I'm sorry. I know that. Okay. Sunday. Godfred. Okay, Sunday, please go on. After Sunday, Godfred comes up. Okay. Oh, sorry. Olayiwola Pamilerin. Okay. You can ask your question. After Olayiwola, Adeyemi comes up. Okay, good evening.
So when are we having the next class?
Next week, Friday. Same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for today, sir.
You're welcome. Okay, Adeyemi.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Sorry, I just want to comment on, I think the last, I think somebody asked maybe we can shift the class a little bit forward. Please, I think 9 is okay for us because some of us are just entering the house now. So if we put it in 8, we might not be concentrating as we still be hopping from one bus to another, coming back from work. So I think this 9 is still okay for us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Sharif Ahmed.
Yeah, good evening,
Good evening.
and thanks for the lecture.
You're welcome.
It was actually, I don't know how to appreciate really. Although I've dropped my question earlier in the message section.
Okay.
When you were doing the arrow function,
Okay.
you said the return is not necessary.
Okay.
What I need to confirm is it because it's on a single line, that is why it's not necessary, or because we have a single line of statement, that is why the return statement is not necessary, or probably whenever we are using it, it's not necessary we use the return statement.
Okay.
I don't know if you get my question.
Yes, sir. Now, that's the way year 6 is. Whenever you are writing year 6 and you have your arrow function, arrow function was released as part of year 6. So whenever you have this year 6 function, like const, let's say ABC, like this. There are 2 ways you can return. The first is to use this arrow. If you are using this arrow to return, then you don't need your curly braces. Once you put this curly braces there, then that means you need to use this word return in order to return a value. But once it sees that this curly braces is not there, it automatically assumes that whatever you put here will be returned. It means that whatever you put in, if I say hi, it automatically means I will return I whenever I call on this function. But maybe you put these curly braces here like this arrow will no longer serve as return. This arrow will no longer serve as return. It will no longer serve as return. And let's say, so this arrow will still serve as return, and you can return some things inside this place. But once this curly braces is there, this arrow will no longer serve as it, except if this is an object. Of course, this can be an object. It will still return the object. This is just an object. It will return this. But maybe you want to write some code, your if statement, you want to do some logic, if so. This arrow will no longer serve as return. So if at all you need to return, you need to now write it out here. Do you understand? Hello?